Let me see. Can you hear?
Yes.
Hello.
Wait, I'm turning it down because I had problems with my microphone, and well, my husband, I think, rescued everything. I don't know. He did something magic, and now it's working. When I have problems with the computer, I always call him, and thank God for that. So I don't know what happened to it, but it stopped working, and then it started again, and then it stopped again, and then I went into a panic. But now I'm all right. I hope it keeps on doing whatever it needs to do. So I'm first of all, if I remember correctly, next week we're all on holiday. Is that correct? Yeah.
Really?
Yuppie. Because is that the end of? Am I doing it all right? It's the end of the first semester. So instead of the lesson, I'll send you the assessment test. Okay. Because yes, it is next, because it's the last Thursday of January for us. And so, yes, so I'm going to send you the assessment test. I'll show you what it is so you have an idea. This is for the new ones. The old students already know absolutely everything. And okay, where is it? I've done something. It's here. I don't want you. You go away and okay. Right, and I just move you out so I can see your questions. Okay. It's long because, I tried to go through absolutely, name it, and it's in there. Remember, is a full C1 test. So C1, it's a very high level. You find things which you think, oh, well, this is very easy. Other things which you might get correctly because it sounds right. And remember that whenever you get something correctly because it sounds right, means that your English is good. Okay, it's not because you're lucky, it's because your English is good. Another thing, remember that if you make some mistakes, it doesn't matter. The important thing, you are learning a foreign language. Whenever you speak in English to someone who can't speak Italian, this person should say, thank you for the effort you're making, trying to help me because I cannot speak your language. So even if you make some mistakes, don't worry. As long as people can understand you, doesn't matter even if you make some mistakes. People make mistakes in Italian when and Italian is their mother tongue. I mean, sometimes you switch television on, and if you listen carefully, some people, when they speak, you start thinking, but what are you talking about? Because they either the syntax or there's always something wrong. So it's all right. So just quickly to show you what I've done. The first one is more, this is the first exercise. It's reading comprehension. So you find this passage. In this passage, there are something like 6 sentences which have been taken out. I give you 8, and you have to find the correct one and the correct place. Then there is an open close. Open close means find a word, just one word, not 2, 3, 4, because otherwise it gets too easy, to insert in the blanks. Usually remember it may be something like phrasal verbs, articles, conjunctions, verbs, maybe the correct verb to use, because remember that there is only one word you can insert here. Then there is the eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So you have 4 choices and you have to insert the correct choice. Usually remember, one is definitely stupid and you say, well, you see it immediately, say, oh no, this is impossible. You're always left with 3, usually 2, because one is the correct one. The other one, for some reason, is wrong. Maybe because the preposition following is wrong. Maybe there's you find a verb which is always followed by with, and you find 2, and you know that, oh well, this is wrong, so I'll go for the other one. So you sort of narrow down your choice. This one is quite nice because you have, you see, okay, 2 articles, and there are some words missing. Okay, I still have to have a look because there is a mistake here. For example, you find insects by far are by far the most. You have succeeded. You have the root word. You have to find the word to insert here, which must be successful. Okay, so usually you have the root word, and sometimes it's the verb, sometimes it's a noun, and you have to transform it into the adjective, into the verb, into something else, but using this word. And each word is refers to the correct line. I'll check it out again. And remember that usually there is one which needs a prefix, and usually is negative. Impressed, unimpressed, I don't know, unresponsive, something negative. And this is the same. Then this is one I really like. You have 3 sentences and there is one missing word, and you have to find the word which is common to the 3 sentences. So for example, in the example is point. I was on the point of doing something, and we moved on to the final point on the agenda, and you couldn't see the point. And so the same for all this. Then there is transformation of sentences, which is quite good because very often, you need to say exactly the same. Remember, the tense has to be exactly the same, and you have to use the word in bold and capitals. And then, just for your pronunciation, some silent letters, some idiomatic expressions. Tell me if I missed out something. Some phrasal verbs to keep you happy, and a little bit of grammar, just thrown in to see whether you remember your tenses, whether you know your prepositions, and etc., and some error correction. And that's it. This is the end. You see, it's nice and long. And wait. Okay. Okay. Nice, long, I hope. Remember one thing. Even if you get absolutely everything wrong, it doesn't. This is the good thing about this test. It doesn't matter. You might find something and you say, oh, well, of course, I made this mistake. I know why I made the mistake. You might find something where you stop and say, why? If you cannot find an explanation, write to me. And so during the various lessons in March, April, we got 3-4 months time, I'll explain it to you. So the test is not to see how good you are, is to see if there are things you might want me to explain again. Okay, every so often I give you some grammar explanations. We did the inform, but then one day you might say, well, I can't remember the difference between I used to do something and I'm used to doing something. Why not? And I explain it again. Okay, I think from the 26th, yes. So I'll check out. Yeah, I think that the week holiday is it next week? Yeah, I think so. Well, I'll write to you anyway. I'll check everything and I'll write to you. So don't worry about that. So yeah, because yes, Thursday. I'll check on the site. And this evening, I hope everything is clear. And again, the test is extremely long. Well, it can take you 1 week, 1 hour, 2 months. Is up to you. Really honest. Don't every so often when you got nothing better to do, you just do a little bit. The important thing, remember, do it, check it immediately. So your mind is still fresh, because you do some exercise and then you check whether it's correct or not immediately. So everything is still fresh in your memory. You know why you have given a certain answer. If you check and you find that your answer is correct, you confirm it and you're happy. If you find you made a mistake, you go and check immediately. And so you sort of, you put a stop to the mistake. Okay, I hope everything is fine. Okay, right, this evening I have, you choose. I have number 7, Shakespeare. It's the usual language, the lesson on the language, something about Shakespeare, all the things he did, and maybe 1 sentence for the translation. And then I have the news, of course. And I was thinking a couple of years ago, I had a very sort of longish lesson, but divided again into bits and pieces, about the most common English pronunciation problems for Italian people. Okay, Italian people, when they speak English, you open your mouth, you go to England, you open your mouth, and they say, oh, you're Italian. The same with the English, when they come to Italy, they open their mouth and say, oh, you're a Brit. You can actually tell the difference between an American speaker and a British speaker when they speak Italian, okay? Because there are, it's muscles. When you're born, remember that you have everything. When you're born, when you start speaking, you could speak any language, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, that's English, because all your muscles are there, are functioning. That's the reason why children, when some children can speak 3 languages perfectly, because mommy and daddy, maybe they live in Italy, but mommy is French and daddy is English, and they mix up everything, and the children just acquire the right accent, okay? That's the reason why I always speak English in the family with my husband. We always speak English, and my children are bilingual. When my son speaks English, you think, oh, well, you're English. When he speaks Italian, you say, oh, you're Italian. And you cannot tell the difference, okay? When you start growing up, the bad news is that you start losing your muscles, and reacquiring and making those old muscles work again takes a long time, and you need a very good ear. Some people have a gift. I had some students who were absolutely brilliant at this. They heard someone speaking and they could imitate the accent, everything. I had a student, my husband has a student, she's this kind of very young girl. When she opens her mouth, say, "Oh, you're American," and she's not. I think she learned English on YouTube. So, but she has a gift, really. She could do the same with Calabrese dialect, Milanese dialect, German, doesn't matter, because it's the way you hear, okay? Other people need a little bit more of an effort, okay? So if my old students don't mind, I could redo the lesson with showing which are the main mistakes Italian speakers make when they speak English, okay? Just, we do a little bit today, another the other time. So what would you like me to start off with? The English pronunciation, the translation, Shakespeare or the news? Let me see. Ok. Si ricorda il termine del primo semestre? Da lunedì 26 gennaio a venerdì 30. So next Thursday we hear is the one after. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Tiziana. I'm not. You see, I'm a very. I never read anything from Unipop because they write a lot, and I've got all my colleagues, saying, "Oh, thank you, all this, all that," and so I always forget to read. So English Shakespeare, English Shakespeare. Okay, we could do a bit of everything. We could do 5-10 minutes of the English pronunciation, just the beginning, part 1. And then we could do a couple of items of news and then start with Shakespeare. Okay. Right. I'm going to share. And this one goes here. This one goes there. All right. Okay. Can you see it properly? Good. Remember that I'm going to send you everything. So today we're just doing the first couple of points, okay? The first 3 points today. Okay, remember, the Italians, when they speak Italian, all Italian words end with a vowel or a vowel sound. Therefore, for the Italians, it's really, really difficult to stop that sort of sound, okay? So what happens when they speak English, they add a sort of an unstressed vowel to the end. In English, the unstressed vowel is called schwa. And schwa in English is this upside down E. You find it when you see phonetics. You see this upside down E, and it's an unstressed sound. You find it in English is one, I think is the most common sound in the English language. because it's the sound of any vowel when I decide not to put any stress on them. For example, if I say banana, you see the first A is unstressed, and so it's banana. If I say above, you see, it's not a, it's not a, it's above. No stress, and so this is the sound. When, for example, I speak very quickly and I use prepositions like of, for example, at. Okay, if I'm angry and I say to you, look at me, you see that I'm putting some stress on at. But if you say, look at me, no stress, and so this vowel becomes a schwa, the same of. Okay, it's a very short sound, and what happens? The Italians, when they speak English, I mean some Italians when they speak English, they tend to add something to the words because there are no words without an ending in Italian. Okay. So when you say stop, you cannot just end stop without, it goes stop, speak, you see, and even cheese is always this sort of ending. For example, it's me become it's me. A book becomes book. For example, if you say give it to me, becomes give it to me. Okay, so the important thing is exercise and try to, for example, you listen to someone speaking English and he says stop, and you go stop. Because remember that is also the reason why sometimes you need to put something at the end of a word is also because you make a mistake you put the stress on the wrong place in the word, okay? So the good thing is start reading, you read out loud, and you try record yourself. That's another thing you can do. Recording yourself is a nice little trick. What you could do, you know that I always send you those lessons for the language, for example. My husband records them. One thing you could do, listen to him, then get a microphone, record yourself, and then compare and say, oh, I'm making this and that mistake. I have to repeat, okay? Because then in following lessons, I'll show you how to join things in a sentence. Because remember that while in Italian, it's a very syllabic language and you stop, you know, you put a space between one word and the other. In Italian, you would say substituting the schwa sound, while in English, it's substituting the schwa sound and becomes one long joined sentence, okay? So with this one, remember, stop putting stuff, words and without any sound, okay? Another thing, this sound, schwa, substituting the schwa sound with another vowel based on spelling. The schwa sound is the most common vowel in English, I told you before. Mispronouncing it might create confusion. Okay, sometimes remember that if you talk to someone who is used to listening to foreigners speaking, they're quite good at guessing. Okay, say, yeah, I know what you mean. But if you speak to someone who is not used to listening or speaking to foreigners, sometimes, say, oh, well, there isn't such a big difference between the way I pronounce it and the way this guy is pronouncing it. How come he cannot understand me? But remember, if you say, for example, Italians very often pronounce report, they pronounce it report. If you say report to an English speaker, well, poor guy doesn't know what you're talking about. Okay, so sometimes a little stress moved onto, for example, at the beginning or in the middle, and is wrong. Pronouncing words, and for example, this is available. You see, in English, this one and this one are schwas. If you say are available, people can't sometimes understand you. So, and my friend banana, you see, this b and these two are schwas. So it's not banana, it's banana. Okay, because there is no stress. And so making mistakes with this can confuse the person listening to you. So, you see, very often it happens with words, of course, which come from Latin via French or French via Latin and etc. And very easy for the Italians because abbandonare, but in English, abandon. It's not abandon, it's abandon. This one is it's not even there, the second schwa. Okay, even this one, personality, and vegetable is not veget, it's vegetable. And the same with stationary and responsible. This one is not responsi, it's responsible. And husband and woman and cardigan. Okay, one thing, what I'm teaching you is British English, sort of standard pronunciation. The Americans, for example, tend to pronounce the R more than the British. But we will see that when we do the difference between the American pronunciation and the British pronunciation. Okay, is it clear up to now? So remember all this stuff, forgetting about just listen to people. Now, for example, if you go on to there are a lot of very, very good dictionaries. I received an email, someone asked me about a good dictionary. I'm looking for the best one, and then I'll give you the name of a good dictionary. But good dictionaries nowadays come with a CD, come with something online where you can actually, if you go to online and you look for the free dictionary online, you get pronunciations. So you're not really sure. So Juliana told me about vegetable. I can't remember what she said. You go and listen to it. Word reference, yeah, also. But the free dictionary online is fantastic. Really, really good. And it's got loads of explanations, pronunciation in American English, British English, I don't know what English, but it's really good. Okay, so as far as this, remember that again in English, while in Italian, yeah, that's it. Thank you, Antonella. While in Italian, you put stress. For example, you see, personalità. It's all syllabic. In English, this thing doesn't exist. Okay, there are syllables, of course. There is usually a main stress which goes very often at the beginning of a word, um, but it's not dividing it into syllables in English. Oh, well, the instructions are so difficult that the easiest thing to do if you want to divide a word into syllables, you look it up in the dictionary. There is a dictionary which divides words for you because while in Italian it's nice and easy. Number 3, vowels. For example, substituting this vowel a with a, because of course you don't have this sound. You do and you don't. Remember, we saw this thing before. In English, you have short vowels. Short vowels. Even in Italian, you have short vowels. For example, when you use the verb to be in Italian and you say lui è, you see that è is in your throat. When you say lui ha, is again in your throat. Ma when you say io vado a scuola, is in your mouth. Io e lui, again, it's a different sound. So you do have short vowels. You don't have as many. You just stop with e, o, and a. In English, you add the others. Okay, they can all become short, and this is difficult. So a is a short vowel. Sounds slightly longer than a, especially before the voiced consonant B and D. So if I say bad, very often the Italians, they say bed. And so I think, well, if you're Australian, you can get away with it because they say bed instead of bad, but it can create confusion. Okay, bad, cab. You see, fabulous. It's a cat, fat, flash, apple. You see, the first one. And again, advert. It's a nice short okay? Because, you see, this is flash, as in cat. This is flesh, as in bed. This is flush, as in cut. And these are 3 different words with 3 different pronunciations. And so if I say flash is what the Italian call flesh, the camera. But in English, flesh is attached to your skin. Flesh is la carne. And flush is what you do in the toilet. When you flush, you flush the toilet. So careful, because, for example, in Italian, you keep on pronouncing flesh for this word. If you speak English, you can create confusion, okay? It's the same with spray. In Italian, you call it spray. But if you try to use spray in English, people won't understand what you're talking about, it because it's spray. It's spray. You spray something and you go ch-ch-ch-ch, okay? So the difficult vowels are a, as in bad, cat, cat. This one is the most difficult one, because this one is the one you do not have in Italian. E. It's nice, short. Pretend you can exercise. You go lui ha, lui è, and lui è, with the same trying to pronounce it the same, because you find it in words like in, sit, hit, city, click, trip, winter. If you start talking about you live somewhere, it's very different from you leave. And pronouncing big, you cannot pronounce it big, because otherwise, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so it's a sharp sound. It's at the back of your throat. It's not in your mouth. You knit, you read, you tilt, to live, will, fit, and sit. Okay. The nice and long one is the Italian one. All these words are very easy for the Italians, because it's E, Italian E. Need, read, treat, mio, zio, you see, it's in your mouth. So this one's double E, E-A, nice and easy. When it's just this one in short words, it becomes a bit more difficult. The good thing, so remember, eat and it, feet and fit, seat and sit, beat and bit, deal and deal. Del è il, non è il finocchietto. I can't remember what it is in Italian. I love it. Do you know what dill is? Non è il finocchietto selvatico, è il... I'll tell you. Aneto, thank you. I always forget aneto. It's nice, very nice. Okay, so you see there is a big difference between aneto and un affare. Picchiare e un pochino. So, and now we can do this too, and that's it for today. The same with ooh. In English, you have the long one and the short one. So the long one in Italian is very nice and easy, because you go room, but in Italian you say bue, suo. You see, it's all in your mouth. It's not at the back of your throat. So room, tooth, food, mood, rude, soon, and etc. But this is more difficult, because this one is short. Put, could, should, would. Would, the same. Took, cook, book, put, and etc. You see, good and pull, they're exactly the same. So you have to exercise and go room and put, tooth and could, and try to feel the difference in your mouth. And I think we can actually stop here. And I'll start sending you all this. Is nice and clear up to here? Good. So I'll send you this bit. Okay. And if you have problems, questions, and etc., you ask me. You send me an email. So now we can do a couple of items of news. Okay, so this is the students. I have to find something to substitute the news because it's always become so depressing that I want to find something a bit more cheerful. Okay.
BBC News with
Okay. No, and I'm moving you there. Right. Yeah, it is very depressing. I have to find something, maybe some kind of some news which is not nothing to do with politics, war, and etc. I'll try to find something. Anyway, we can do item 1 and item 2, and then we can carry on with our lesson on our friend Shakespeare. So, the first one, listen to the news, fill in the gaps, and then we answer the questions. The questions are always listening comprehension, vocabulary quiz, a little bit of pronunciation, and then some grammar. So, first, just relax and listen, and then I'll repeat it so you got time to fill in. Okay. Just tell me if you can hear it.
BBC News with Danielle Yałowiecka.
Do you want to be louder? Okay. Right.
With Danielle Yałowiecka. President Trump has urged Iranians to keep up their anti-government protests, telling them help is on its way. He said killers and abusers would pay a big price. Mr. Trump's national security team has met to discuss what action to take, although it's not clear if any decisions have been made.
Okay. So how do you find her? Fast? Too quick? Okay. Okay. Yeah, she's not bad. They all tend to be quite clear. They're fast because they have 2 minutes, 8 items, so they have to sort of get a move on, but they're not too bad. Remember, when you download it, you can always slow it down. Okay, I'll stop for you to give me the answers.
Danielle Yałowiecka. President Trump has urged Iranians to keep up.
Very good. So, has urged. Very good.
Iranians to keep up their anti-government protests, telling them
to keep up. Very good, very good. Yes, anti-government protests. So, Okay, let's pretend you have understood govern, okay, really. Okay, anti-government is the correct word because I protest against the government. Okay, they're not protest against the government. So, but as far as you understanding what they're talking about, it doesn't make any difference. So even if you make a mistake and you understand anti-govern, really, who cares? It's perfectly fine.
Keep up their anti-government protests, telling them help is on its way. He said
help is very good. On its way. Okay, you understand on the way, fine, it doesn't matter, because the woman says help is on its way. You understand, help is on the way. The meaning is exactly the same. So relax and it's fine.
Protests, telling them help is on its way. He said killers and abusers would pay a big price. Mr. Trump
Big price. Remember that this is big. And this one, a big price. You never, okay. If I'm reading and dictating something, I could say a big price. But whenever I'm talking, remember that this one is always a schwa, big price, because there is no stress on it, okay?
Killers and abusers would pay a big price. Mr. Trump's national security team has met to discuss what action to take, although
Very good this evening. To discuss
what action to take, although it's not clear if any decisions have been.
this one. Oops. Okay. Nearly there. I'll go back.
What action to take, although it's not clear if any decisions have been made. Action to take, although it's not clear if any decisions have been.
Yes, very good. Although it's not clear if any decisions very good.
To discuss what action to take, although it's not clear if any decisions have been made.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Again, remember that if you manage to every week, it takes me a long time to do all these exercises and etc. But it's very good for you. If you do it as an exercise during the week, you'll find that your comprehension, wow, will improve tremendously. And if you try, okay, you just heard the woman, try to reread it. President Trump has urged Iranians to keep up their anti-government protests. Try to reread it. So in this way, we can more or less make up for all the speaking you can't have during my lessons. Because again, with over 80 people, I told you it's very difficult to have a conversation. But this is a good idea to sort of have a conversation with yourself. Right, listening comprehension. Let's see whether it's true or false. President Trump encouraged protesters in Iran to continue demonstrating. Yeah, very good. He suggested that assistance would arrive very soon. Yeah, because he said that help is on its way. Clear decisions were announced after the national security meeting. Well, it says, although it's not clear if any decisions have been made, so it's false, because clear decisions were announced. Not, we don't know whether they've taken decisions or not, and so this one is false. And let's see, vocabulary. If you keep up, one or more answer might be correct. Remember, keep up with something or somebody, the meaning. Remain informed and knowledgeable about something. Continue doing something. Slow your pace so that other people can reach the same speed as you, or do whatever is necessary to stay level or equal with somebody or something. So someone says definitely B, 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 someone says A, someone says D, a good mixture, very good, definitely A. Okay. You keep up with whatever is happening in the world because every Thursday you listen to the news. So that's keeping up. You keep up with your good job, you see. You keep exactly, you keep up with the Kardashians, which is a lot better. You continue keep up with your good job, your English studying, and etc. And for example, you need to keep up. Can you slow down? I can't keep up with you. So I ask you to slow down because I want to stay level, equal with somebody. Okay. It's a TV program, and I watch television, but sometimes I just watch series on Apple TV and sometimes Netflix. That's my knowledge of television. So keep up, remember, remain informed and knowledgeable. Remember the gradations. Continue doing something. Remember your English and do whatever is necessary to stay level or slow down. I want to keep up with you. Okay. On its way suggests something is planned but uncertain, already happening or arriving soon, distant in space or time or out of reach. Yeah, this one is easy. For example, you can say, I'm on my way. So, where are you? On my way means I'm actually walking and I'm approaching home. I'm on my way to school means I'm there walking. So you can also use it to describe your position when you're doing or going somewhere. Okay. And now we got abuse. Abuse the meaning. Treat another person in a cruel, violent, or unfair way. Someone definitely says A, definitely abuse. Use something in a way that is harmful or morally wrong. Yes, definitely. Something, for example, you can abuse my patience. You use it in a way which is wrong. Okay. You abuse of alcohol, drugs, and etc. And you swear a lot. You use offensive language. So they're all correct. Abuse, these are all the meaning of abuse. Abusive language, it's when you swear a lot and you use very, bad language. Now we go pronunciation. I know that you know. Okay, the U in this word is pronounced as in bird, U as in blue, and U as unique. Very good. Remember, a mistake which I've seen very often is some student pronounce urge, I don't know why, huge, if it's possible. It's very difficult. And therefore, when they use the indefinite article, if you pronounce it correctly, you talk about an urge. But some students, they pronounce it you, and so they say a huge, which is very difficult to say, but they can make a mistake because of the pronunciation. Then we have the past. How do you pronounce the past? Do you pronounce it ed? So very good, it is urged. Then we have the stress in this word. Is it on the first, on the second, or on the third? You're very good. I think I can go home. Bye-bye. See you next week. Very good. Yes, because this one, okay, is a schwa. Is abuser. You see, there is no stress on this. It's not abuser, it's abuser. So this one, you sort of ignore it and pronounce it very, very quickly, and you put the stress on the second syllable, which is this one. And then we go all this. This is very confusing. We have this word is the cost of something. This word is a reward and value. This one, when you try to force something open. And this one, be noisy or force open. Okay. Are they homophones? Okay, someone says true. Okay. I'll give, shall I give, I put the homophones are these ones. This one, and this one. Okay. Remember, this one is not, because this one is price with an S. I'll put it here. Okay. These ones are prize, and prize, all with a Z. And I'll put it here. So these three, prize, and prize, are homophones, but this one isn't, and so this is false. Okay, because this is price. And the grammar quiz. Grammar quiz, if found it difficult to keep on up in at, very good, with the class. You keep on doing something, you continue. You keep something in means that you don't want to reveal it, or you kept the children in because it was too cold outside. If you keep at something, keep at it. It could be also being a bit stop keeping. No, at with at is nothing. I can't think of any examples. She's well on her way, in her way, way ahead at her ways. Okay, definitely. What's the difference between to be on the way, to be in the way. What's the difference between these two? Is there a difference? Very good. Oh no, there is a difference. To be on the way, help, okay? Sort of arriving, okay? To be in the way, be an obstacle. You're always in the way. You know, move. Okay. Yeah, can be annoying. It's an obstacle. Okay. Tra I piedi, very good. Very often, my dog has got this sort of habit. She always lies in the middle. And if you don't pay attention, you kill yourself because she's always in the way. So I'm here and she puts herself across the room. So when I get up, I'm not careful, I stumble into the dog, okay? So there is a big difference between these two. If you are way ahead of something, means you are the first one. The others are all behind you. Okay. Oh yes, she always needs my attention and she gets plenty, don't worry. She's spoiled rotten. And this one, by the time we arrived, the meeting has already, was already, is already, had already. Yeah, very good, yes. Had. Yes, because by the time we arrived, so when we arrived, the meeting had already taken place. All the others are wrong. Good. We can do number 2. Before you listen, underline the correct options, then answer the questions and etc. Okay, just okay. So scientists, they speak about greenhouse gas emissions in the United States, raised, have risen, are being risen. Okay. Say is the correct one because they speak about greenhouse emissions, full stop. And that's it. They talk about greenhouse emissions in the United States. But you have to stop here if you want to use talk about or speak about. If you carry on, they actually say what happens, okay? And so you need to use say. So scientists say that greenhouse gas emission in the United States have risen. Very good. So this is clear because you see, scientists say that you don't need to remember that very often is omitted, but it is here. Okay, have risen for the first time. So you see, in 3 years, so it's before and up to now. And so I need to use the present perfect. There is nothing else I can use. They blame a growing demands by, with, from. Very good. Where is it? From. Okay. Wait, I didn't see your question. Was that question? Why not speak about? Federica, you can use speak about if you say scientists speak about greenhouse gas emissions in the United States. But then you need to stop, because if you carry on, you're telling me what they've been talking about, and so you are referring something, you see. So they say that greenhouse gas emissions in the United States have risen, have done something, okay. Why demand? Where's demand? Demand means if you demand something, means that the data center need and therefore demands probably energy, more energy, and the cold winter, more heating. And so these are the demands, for example, of the consumers are whatever the consumer want to have. Io say the same in Italian, le domande del pubblico, i bisogni, okay? In this case, demand is what data centers and people being cold during the winter, hence central heating, that's our demands. Okay, is this clear, Nicoletta? Okay, fine. So listen to whatever the name is.
Have been made. Scientists say greenhouse gas emissions in the United States have risen for the first time in 3 years. They blame growing demands from data centers and a cold winter.
So data centers and people being cold, hence because the cold winter, they need more energy, and so greenhouse gas emissions are increasing. Okay, listen and comprehension. The first one, US greenhouse gas emissions have increased after several years of decline. I would say it's true, because they say that greenhouse gas emissions in the United States have risen for the first time in 3 years. And so, well, several is not several. Yeah, several can be referred to this. Doesn't really mean, but it doesn't mean that we're declining. You're right. Shall we put not given? Not given. Okay. Because we don't know, quite rightly, Mario is saying they were stable, not decreasing, and so this is not given. Scientists blame renewable energy production for the rise. Yeah, this is definitely false. And increased digital infrastructure was cited as one contributing factor. Definitely. Okay. And now, grammatically correct. Would you say to rise from 1 million to 2 million, or to raise from 1 million to 2 million? Very good. So this one is correct, because remember that, well, we will see it here. Remember that when we answer this question, we have the explanation exactly. One is in raise. Remember that is a transitive verb. So you raise your eyebrow, you raise your income, you raise something, okay? Rise, the sun rises over the horizon, is intransitive. And this one is regular, raised and raised. This one is irregular. To rise, rose, risen. Okay, so you rise from to. Okay, let's see. To fall of 50% or to fall by 50%? Yeah, very good. To fall by. And decrease for 50% of something or a decrease of 50% in something? Very good. It's B. And would you say a 50% increase in prices or a 50% of increase in prices? Right? You're very good. Yes. So remember, here you can say a decrease, an increase, a fall, a drop, a noun of percentage in something. When you use to fall, to increase, to decrease, to drop, and etc., it's a verb, you use the preposition by. So to fall by, to drop by, to increase by is always like that. And this is from, to. And if you use it as, if you use the percentage as an adjective, you can use this as an adjective, a 50% increase in something, and is always in something. I put it like this. So this one, we've seen it is correct. Okay, greenhouse. Okay, greenhouse means a building usually of glass in which plants are grown, or a special heated room in which people get hot and sweat, or a plant for reprocessing used or abandoned material, or a farming building. Yes, it is. That's a greenhouse. I got one on my I have a big terrace and I got a little greenhouse outside because otherwise my plants during the winter die. Then we have data center. Our facilities that store agricultural data, building design for storing personal belongings, provide electricity, or host computer service. Yeah, very good. And some pronunciation. This word, the stress is on greenhouse or both. Okay, we will have a lesson, when we have a lesson about pronunciation, you see that compound words, okay, the stress is on the first one, okay? If I say blackbird, the stress is here. Because, for example, if I say, I have bought a nice, here, the stress is on the house. I've bought a nice green house. So the difference between a greenhouse is the place where you keep your plants, but a greenhouse is a house which happens to be green. Okay, the same with a blackbird. A blackbird is a bird. I have two which come to eat on my balcony. But if I say blackbird with the stress on bird, are all the birds which happen to be black, not necessarily merely. Okay, so very often remember when in compound words, the stress usually goes on the first bit. These two words, okay, are they homophones? Yes or no? B, no. They're not, okay. The second bit is the same, but the beginning is completely different because this one is first as an F, this one is first. Okay, so the beginning is different. And so we have, in Standard British English, these three words. I say that they are typically not homophones. Their initial consonant sounds are distinct. Is it true or false? It is true. Because this is 3, this is 3, and this is 3. The T in Italian, I think T is more towards your teeth. Okay, when you say Torino, your tongue is on your teeth. When you say treno, okay, when you use the T in English and you say turin and the train and the tree, you see that your tongue is more towards your palate. If you do that, it's easier for you to pronounce the words, okay? And so you get your tree, which is different from free. Okay, the last bit, emissions. Emissions have risen on, since, for, or nothing. Very good, for. And scientists blame the increase on, for, with, or to. You blame the increase. You put the blame, don't put the blame on me. Okay, so you put the blame on someone, therefore you blame something on someone or something. Okay, and the last one, planet warming gas levels raised, have risen, rose, or have raised. Careful, because I tell you exactly when, and so the only one is this one. No, they rose in 2025. Without the 2025, you're correct. Okay, but I'm telling you, 2026 now, and so very sorry, 2025 belongs to the past, and so you need to use the past. Okay, if you stop here, okay, I would actually use have been rising more than ever. That's it. But if I tell you when, remember in English only the past. Okay, clear? Okay, do you want to do another item or do you want to start the other lesson? Another item, yeah. Should we do another item and we forget about it and we start? Yeah, so we can, if we do another item, next lesson, we can start afresh. Okay, so number 3. listened to the news. It was very late last night and I made loads of mistakes and or omissions. And so you have to first listen, and then you tell me all the mistakes I made.
Demands from data centers and a cold winter. The Republican congressman heading the inquiry into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein says his committee will meet next week to hold the former Democratic President Bill Clinton in contempt. That could potentially lead to criminal charges. Earlier, Mr. Clinton and his wife Hillary refused to testify and have dismissed the inquiry as politically driven.
Okay. So, because this is not, it's a bit difficult. I'm going back.
The Republican congressman heading the...
Very good. Okay. Wait, I'll do it in capitals. So, Republican. Even if you can't hear it, you know that it needs to be something. Okay.
The Republican congressman heading the inquiry into the late...
Very good. Not leading, but heading. Which is all right. The inquiry. Okay. I know you don't like this because it feels like a mistake. Okay. You wouldn't say around, so be careful.
The Republican congressman heading the inquiry into the late sex offender Jeff...
Very good. Into. What's late? Why the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein? Because he's dead. Yeah. Yes, very good. When you late, okay, sorry, I'm late is, I'm not being very punctual. But when you talk about a person and you refer to this person as late, means this person is dead, okay?
Congressman heading the inquiry into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein says his committee will meet next...
Is very good. Very good. His committee, sorry. Okay. Not pretty.
And heading the inquiry into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein says his committee will meet next week to hold the former...
Yeah, very good. So this one is weak. There is no difference between a weak is a weak. There is no difference between the two. Okay, to hold, let's see.
Sex offender Jeffrey Epstein says his committee will meet next week to hold the former Democratic president...
Very good. To hold the former... Can you give me a synonym for former? Previous, X. Very good, X. Yeah. Yeah, means the one before. Or the one before.
And heading the inquiry into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein says his committee will meet next week to hold the former Democratic president Bill Clinton in contempt. That could...
Yes. Oh, someone has got the audio. Okay. Very good. In contempt. And then I'll ask you a question about in contempt.
In contempt. That could potentially lead to criminal charges.
Very good. Not freed, but lead to criminal charges.
Clinton in contempt. That could potentially lead to criminal charges. Earlier, Mr. Clinton and his wife.
Wife. Did you get the earlier? Wife, lead. Okay. Was it later or earlier? Listen to her.
That could potentially lead to criminal charges. Earlier, Mr. Clinton and his wife Hillary refused.
Yes, so it's earlier. Mr. Clinton and his wife Hillary
Earlier, Mr. Clinton and his wife Hillary refused to testify and have dismissed the inquiry as political.
And have. Yeah, the earlier is correct. So, and his wife, Hillary, and here, and have. Listen to it.
Mr. Clinton and his wife Hillary refused to testify and have dismissed the inquiry as politically driven.
Very good, yes. It's my thing. Very good, yes. So have dismissed politically driven. Very good. Now, questions. A congressional committee plans to take action against the former president. Is it true or false? Yeah. Well, yes, because this the committee, they're doing something because it's been accused of something, and so it is true. Bill Clinton has agreed to testify voluntarily. It is false. And the inquiry could result in legal consequences. They could, oh yes, definitely, potentially lead to criminal charges, and so it is true. What's an offender? Someone who uses profanity, a person who has committed a crime, a wrongdoer, or a person who lacks sophistication or good taste. Oh, wait. So, which one? Wait, I can't. Is that? Oh. Oopsie. What happened? Oh, gosh. Okay. Are we all here? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
we
good.
can see.
Oh, good. I had a moment of, I think, okay. The important thing is that you can hear me. I cannot see, I don't know what happened. I can't see your question and your answers, but I'll tell you, well, it's 1 minute. So an offender is definitely a person who has committed a crime and a wrongdoer. A wrongdoer è un criminale, is someone who does wrong, un malfattore. Okay, very good. I can see you now. Oops. Oh, this evening. It's I think it's my, there's something odd. Okay, yes, there's something wrong. The semester finishes on Friday the 23rd. So we're having our lesson on the 22nd. Okay. I'm sending you everything. So I'm not going to send you the test this week, but it will be next week. So I'll see you next Thursday, same place, same time. And then the week after, we're going to have a nice holiday. Well, I hope you enjoyed the lesson, even with a little glitch. But let me see. I lost all your messages. I cannot usually do copy and paste, but I lost everything. The message is gone. Anyway, if you need whatever you need, write to me, and have a lovely evening, and I'll see you next Thursday. Okay. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Vivian.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Ciao Temi.
Ciao Viviana.
E Lorenzo c'è oggi stasera? No, non si sa. Ciao ciao.